mechanical equilibrium, thermal equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, etc. Quasi-static process, reversible process, and irreversible process. Today we will discuss some more definition related to thermodynamics. As I said, module 1 itself indicates fundamental concepts and definitions. Okay, so you have to go through all the definitions and concepts properly. Okay, once you understand, it will be easy for other models to analyze. Okay, so I'll discuss some more concept in this class. So we studied, okay, thermodynamic properties. Thermodynamic properties means every state has its certain characteristics by which its physical condition can be described. Okay, and these are all macroscopic in nature. Whatever pressure, volume, temperature we are dealing in thermodynamics, they are all macroscopic in nature. Hence, every system has certain characteristics by which its physical condition can be described. Already we studied intensive properties and extensive properties. Intensive properties are those properties which are independent of mass. They are not related to the mass. Example, pressure and temperature. On the other hand, we are having extensive properties. These are the properties which are related to the mass. For example, volume, energy, etc. Okay. Next. Thermodynamic properties we studied, that is pressure, volume, and temperature. Next, we are having important definition called as thermodynamic state. Okay, so thermodynamic state means when all the properties of a system have a definite values, then the system is said to exist at a definite state. So you see the diagram here. Okay, so this is the diagram. Already we studied the 5 different process: constant volume process, constant uh, pressure process, isothermal process, adiabatic process, and polytropic process. We all discussed in detail in the previous class. Okay, so based upon that, I am giving the
Sir,
definition. Okay, state of
sir,
a system when. Tell me. Tell me
could
any
you
doubt.
share this PowerPoint in the Google
Hmm.
Classroom for reference?
Because as soon as I finish this module, now I'll immediately this one. Okay, I'll share. Don't worry. Okay? I'll
Yeah,
share this
thanks.
entire model, everything. Okay, don't worry.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
keep in the Google Classroom. I'll share, okay, immediately. Yeah,
Yeah,
after 1 or 2 class, I'll share, okay. Hmm. Okay.
okay.
Meantime, all of you have to enter your USN in the chat box for attendance purpose, okay. All of those who have joined, you enter your USN for attendance. Okay. Uh, Next, properties. Okay, state of a system. State of a system means, okay, so when all the properties are have definite values. For example, you see, so what we studied is polytropic process. So suppose you take P1, V1, and T1, they're all having definite values. P1 means I can take 1 bar, P1 has 25 degrees Celsius, and V1 has some 0.1 meter cube. Like that, they're all having the definite values. So that in such cases, we are having it is the process is exist to state at a particular state. Okay. So as per our definition, when all the properties of a system have definite values, then the system is said to exist at definite state. And the states are represented by 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So what I have taken is only 2 states are there. You see, state 1, it is the process is beginning from state 1. It is having the thermodynamic properties P1, V1, and T2. It undergoes sequence of the equilibrium state and reaches the final state by reaching state 2. And state 2 is also having the definite values P2, V2, and T2 respectively. So according to the definition, when all the thermodynamic properties of a system have definite values, then the system is said to exist at a definite state. You remember, so this is the state 1 and state 2. Okay. Next definition is our thermodynamic process. Okay. Sorry, change of state. Okay, change of state. Any operation in which one or more properties of the system changes is called a change of state. Okay, so there are three definitions related to state. One is thermodynamic state, change of state, and path of change of state. Okay, thermodynamic state means when the path is completely specified, then the change of state is called as thermodynamic state. So next definition is change of state. Any operation in which one or more properties of the system changes is called as change of state. Okay. So for example, you take this process only. Starting, we are having the properties P1, V1, and T1. So it undergoes some process, whatever it is, whether it is constant volume, constant temperature, or adiabatic or polytropic, whatever process you take, definitely there will be a change in properties from the initial state to final state. So whatever process you take, there will be definitely change in thermodynamic properties. One or other thermodynamic properties will change from initial state to final state. So when we are defining the term change of state is that any operation in which one or more properties of the system changes is called as change of state. For example, you take constant volume process. That is, constant volume means V1 and V2 same. On the other hand, the pressure and temperature changes. Suppose you take constant pressure process where pressure remains constant. Remaining properties like volume and temperature changes. So according to the definition, any operation in which one or more properties of the system changes is called as the change of state. Okay. Next, path of change of state. So that I'm taking this process here. We are having this process at state 1, having the properties P1, V1, and T1. So it undergoes a sequence of the things, means it passes through the number of the equilibrium state and reaches the final state 2. So we are defining the term path of change of state is as the succession of states passed through during the change of state. It's called as path of the change of state. Whatever the path followed from initial state to the final state is called as path of change of state. Okay, there are three definitions related to state. Thermodynamic state means, so it is a state at which all the properties have definite values. Then the change of state means change of state means any operation in which one or more properties of a thermodynamic system changes, that is called as change of state. And then last one is path of change of state. Path of change of state means the succession of the state. Okay, so it undergoes a number of equilibrium states, the succession of the states during the path followed, that is called as path of change of state. Whatever the path followed from initial state to the final state is called as path of change of state. So these are the three definitions related to our state. Okay, next, thermodynamic process. Okay, so in the previous class we studied various processes like constant volume, constant temperature, etc. And how we are going to define thermodynamic process. When the path is completely specified, then then change of state is called as thermodynamic process. So you take, I'm taking this one example. So this is a polytropic process. Follow the law, PV raised to n equals to constant. When the path is completely specified, then only we are calling it as a thermodynamic process. Suppose I am having initial state 1. Suppose if I stop in between, we are not calling it as a thermodynamic process. So it has to undergo the number of state and it should reach the final state. And only we are calling it as the thermodynamic process. So hence, in order to understand the thermodynamic process, so you should have the idea of thermodynamic state, the change of state, path of change of state, and then the process. Okay, so that's why you have to analyze all these basic definitions properly. Okay, so I'll repeat once again. Thermodynamic process definition is when the path of a process is completely specified, then the change of state is called as the thermodynamic process. Okay, so already I discussed constant volume, constant pressure, isothermal, adiabatic, and polytropic. Anybody having doubts in this process regarding PV diagram?
No, sir.
Suppose you have not understood any. Okay, good. Okay. Next, I'll go to cyclic process. Okay, cyclic process. And whatever I gave the example, it is just a thermodynamic process. Okay, here the state one having the different properties and state two having different properties, means the properties are not same. Okay, such kind of thing is we are calling it as thermodynamic process. On the other hand, one more process is there in the thermodynamics, that is called as cyclic process. Okay, cyclic process, you see the diagram. So I am starting from point 1. Okay, point 1, and I am reaching the another state. Okay, so having initially properties P1 and V1 and T1, and then it reaches the final state having properties P2 and V2 and T2. What I am going to do, I am going to take back from final state to initial state. Okay, so that what is the condition here? The initial and final conditions are same. So such kind of process is called as cyclic process. Okay, so don't make confusion between thermodynamic process and cyclic process. In a thermodynamic process, initial and final states are having the different thermodynamic properties. On the other hand, in case of thermodynamic cycle, the initial and final states are identical, because what? It comes back. So it undergoes the sequence of things and it reaches the final state. And from the final state, once again, it comes back to the original state. So such kind of process is called as cyclic process. Okay. So now I'll make the difference between thermodynamic process and cyclic process. You see the diagram. This is called as thermodynamic process. Whatever it is, constant pressure, temperature, then polytropic, whatever it is. So this is the thermodynamic process having the different properties at a different state. Okay. On the other hand, a thermodynamic cyclic is a process. In this case, the initial and final conditions are same because it retained to the original condition. So this is called as cyclic process. Okay. Next comes to zeroth law of thermodynamics. Okay. We are going to study zeroth law of thermodynamics in module 1. Okay. First law of thermodynamics in module 2. Second law of thermodynamics in module 3. Okay, we are having mainly 3 laws of thermodynamics, and one more is there, third law of thermodynamics, that we are not going to deal in much. Okay, mainly we are concentrating on first law of thermodynamics and second law of thermodynamics. Okay, zeroth law of thermodynamics is the basics for equilibrium condition. Okay, how we are going to do the statement for zeroth law of thermodynamics, as you can see in the slide, is that okay. So here we are having 3 systems: system A, system B, and system C. When system A is in thermal equilibrium with system B or body B, and also separately in thermal equilibrium with system C or body C, then the bodies or systems B and C are in thermal equilibrium with each other. So this is the definition of zeroth law of thermodynamics. Whenever they ask give the statement for zeroth law of thermodynamics, in that case, so you have to first draw the diagram. Okay, diagram plays very important role in thermodynamics. Okay, so here I'll repeat once again. When system A is in thermal equilibrium with system B and also separately in thermal equilibrium with system C, then the systems B and C are in equilibrium with each other. So this is a statement for zeroth law of thermodynamics. Already studied mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, thermal equilibrium, in thermodynamic equilibrium. So as I said, so once all these three equilibrium conditions are satisfied, then only we are calling it as a thermodynamic equilibrium. If any one of the equilibrium condition is not satisfied, in that case, it is not in equilibrium condition. So it is in equilibrium condition. So hence it has to satisfy all the three equilibrium condition. Chemical equilibrium means there is no chemical reaction within the system. Okay, thermal equilibrium means the temperature of the system and surrounding should be same. Mechanical equilibrium means there is no unbalanced force between the system and surroundings or within the system itself. If the unbalanced force exists, then the system reacts with the surroundings until it attains the mechanical equilibrium condition. So once all these conditions are satisfied, so we are calling it as thermodynamic equilibrium. So zeroth of thermodynamic states that. So we are going to take three bodies. Okay, hope you understood this statement. Okay. Okay. Next comes to the definition of, so whatever just now I said, I have put it in the statement. If body is in equilibrium with body B and also separately in equilibrium with body C, then bodies B and C will be in thermal equilibrium with each other. This is the statement for zeroth law of thermodynamics. Okay. Next concept is our temperature. Okay. So temperature is already you know, it is a measure of intensity or degree of hotness in a body. Okay, so that don't make confusion between temperature and heat. Okay, so heat is a form of energy. Okay, like the other forms of the energy, and the heat takes place. How the heat takes place in a body? By virtue of temperature difference. On the other hand, temperature is a measure of intensity or degree of hotness or coldness of a body. Okay, so temperature is a property. Okay, and heat is a form of energy. Remember, we are going to deal the heat in depth in second module, that is work and heat transfer. So in this module, we are going to concentrate mainly on the temperature concepts, scales, measurement. Okay, then how we are going to establish the relationship between the various temperature scales. Okay. Mainly, already you know, there are various scales are used for the temperature. Mainly, we are using degree Celsius, that is Celsius scale, Kelvin scale. These are the two things we heard. Okay. Apart from these two scales, we are having the Rankine scale. Okay, so we are having a Fahrenheit scale. So these are not much in use. Okay, but you should know these things. Fahrenheit scale, Rankine scale, okay, Kelvin scale, etc. Okay. First one is a Celsius scale. So before going to this scale, so you should remember certain fixed points on the temperature scale. Okay, there are ice point and steam point. Okay, you should know these 2 points, important things. Ice point is the temperature of the ice, that is 0 degrees Celsius, and steam point, already you know, when the water starts boiling, it starts boiling at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So it is called as steam point, and ice point is nothing but 0 degrees Celsius. So we need two fixed points to measure the any scale. Okay, Celsius scales. The Celsius scales are based upon the two fixed point. One is the ice point. corresponds to 0 degrees Celsius, and boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. And one more thing is a Fahrenheit scale. Okay, once again, in the Fahrenheit scale, ice point is 32 degree Fahrenheit and steam point is 212 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, remember, in a Celsius scale, ice point is 0 degree and steam point is 100 degrees Celsius. And in case of Fahrenheit scale is also another scale for temperature measurement. Ice point is 32 degree Fahrenheit and steam point is 212 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, and we are having one more important thing called as Kelvin scale. Okay, so what is Kelvin scale? Kelvin scale is the absolute scale. Okay, so in the ice point is nothing but you have to add 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. That is 273 Kelvin is the ice point. And one more steam point is 373.15. Whatever value you are having 0 and 100 degrees Celsius, for the Celsius scale, you have to add the 273.15. So you'll get the ice point and steam point. That is 0 plus 273.15. That is 273.15 Kelvin is your ice point. And so what is steam point? We're having 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so 100 plus 273.15. So you'll get 373.15 Kelvin. Okay, so these are the values in Kelvin scale. So apart from Kelvin scale, we are having okay, we are having one more scale called as a Rankine scale. So this is not much news. So that in a Rankine scale, ice point is 491.67 R. Okay, R indicates Rankine scale, and steam point is 671.67 Rankine scale. So just you remember the Celsius scale, Kelvin scale. Okay, so and sometimes Fahrenheit scale. Okay, Rankine scale is another scale. Okay. Okay. Now, next most important thing, okay, I'm discussing is, okay, so what I'm discussing is the most important thing in this module. Okay, based upon this, we are going to do the numerical problem. How we are going to compare the different temperature scale. So in this first one, I'm going to establish the relationship between the Celsius scale and Kelvin scale. Okay, remember, okay, Celsius scale, we're having ice point as 0 degrees Celsius and steam point as 100 degrees Celsius. And in Kelvin scale, ice point is 273.15 Kelvin and steam point is 373.15 Kelvin. So you see comparison of scales. Okay. So before that, we are having another definition called as thermometric property. Okay, thermometric properties already you know the measurement of temperature. How we are going to measure the temperature? By using the normal thermometer. Okay, in the thermometer, as the temperature rises, and we are having certain sort of the liquid in the thermometer. As the temperature rises, so the level of liquid in the thermometer rises. Okay, the temperature, so just it gives the indication to rise the level of liquid in the thermometer. Hence, the rise of the liquid level in the thermometer is the thermometric property. You remember, don't make confusion between thermometric property and thermodynamic property. Thermodynamic property means every system has certain characteristics by which its physical condition can be described: pressure, volume, and temperature. On the other hand, we are having a property called as thermometric properties. As the temperature changes, the thermometric property also changes with respect to temperature. Remember, thermometric property related to temperature only. whereas thermodynamic property is related to all the things like pressure, volume, etc. Okay, thermometric properties. Okay, this one thermometer. Actually, we are having a certain sort of liquid called as mercury. Is there in the thermometer? Just you observe that there will be a rise of liquid level as the temperature rises. As the temperature rises, the liquid level also rises. This is nothing but your thermometric property. Okay, for example, you take thermocouple, mainly used for higher range of temperature. Okay, that is above 500 degrees Celsius. We are not going to use the thermometer. In that case, we are going to use an instrument called as thermometer. I'll explain all this instrument in the next class. Okay, so according to the range of temperature, we are going to use the instruments. Okay, and also we're having electrical resistance thermometer. We are having a thermocouple, and above, suppose if we want to measure the temperature above 1000 degrees Celsius, in that case we are going to use the radiation pyrometer. Okay, so these are the various temperature measurement device, and thermometer are mainly used for small scale temperatures. Okay, and for higher range of temperature we are having the different scale. Okay, thermometric property is the property which changes as the temperature changes. That is called as thermometric property. Okay, hope all of you can visible the contents on the screen. Okay, now let us consider a thermometric property L. Okay, so you can represent by any symbol such that T is in degrees Celsius and it is a linear function of L. Okay, as the temperature changes, thermometric property also changes. I am representing thermometric property as L, and T is the temperature. I am going to measure in degrees Celsius, because in this things I am going to make the comparison between degree Celsius and Kelvin scale. That's why I took temperature in degrees Celsius, and T is a linear function of L. Okay, so there is a one relation is there. Okay, between temperature and thermometric property. As I said, T is a linear function of L. Okay, so just you have to remember this equation, simple equation, most important thing. T equals to AL plus B. Okay, so for solving problems, you have to remember this equation. What I'm telling, repeating once again, you have to remember this equation. T equals to AL plus B, where T is a temperature in degrees Celsius, L is thermometric property. Okay, any thermometric property, then A and B are constant values. Okay, next we are going to determine these A and B values by using ice point and steam point. As I said, ice point is 0 degrees Celsius in Celsius scale, and 100 degrees Celsius is the steam point in Celsius scale. Okay, so before solving an okay, so before solving any problems, you have to remember this linear equation. T equals to AL plus B. Okay, T is temperature in degrees Celsius, L is thermometric property, A and B are constant, which are going to obtain with the use of ice point and steam point. Okay. Now, I'm taking 2 points and I'm calling L as Li, because we are having thermometric L as Li. This is the thermometric property at ice point. Now, you have to substitute the value of 0 degree Celsius and L as Li in equation number 1. You call this equation as 1. T equals to AL plus B. You call it as equation number 1. So, first you take ice point. T is 0 at ice point, and A you put as it is, and instead of L you have to put Li. What is Li? It is a thermometric property at ice point. Plus B you put as it is. This is the first step. So after writing the equation, you have to take ice point, put T as 0 and L as Li. What is Li? So this is the uh, thermometric property at
Sir,
ice point. Okay, any doubts? Tell me.
So what's written in the
Tell me
bracket?
any doubts?
Li is equals to thermometric property at which what's it's written?
Thermometric property at ice point.
Okay, ice point. Okay.
So in the bracket, Li is thermometric property at
Okay, sir,
ice
got it.
point. Okay. So T equals to L plus B, the general equation. Okay. And L, I'm calling it as Li. Okay. This is the thermometric property at ice point. Okay. That's why I said you understood what is thermometric property. Have you understood thermometric property? So don't make confusion between thermodynamic and thermometric property. Thermometric property which changes as the temperature changes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
In the bracket, I mentioned it as Li. What I mentioned, no, Li is the thermometric property at ice point. That is the thing. Okay. In the bracket. Okay. Li is thermometric property. I indicates ice point, you remember. And for steam point, I am representing it as S. That's it. I is L is thermometric property. I is the ice point. That's it. You remember. Okay. Now I am going to substitute the value of T as 0 and L as Li in equation number 1. So what you are getting things? So 0 equals to Al plus Ali plus B. Okay. That's why I said you have to remember this general equation T equals to Al plus B. And after that, you are going to put one is ice point, means you are going to take 0. And next point, we need these two fixed points. These are called fixed points. So substitute the value of T as 0 and L as Li. So 0 equals to Ali plus B. So from this equation, B equals to minus Ali. So this is the equation. Okay, next what I'm taking. Okay. Is it visible, guys? Okay, screen.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible? Okay. So similarly, okay, just you understand the step. Okay, anyhow, I'll share all these this one in the Google Classroom, or you can go through. Meantime, you have to understand the concept. Okay, how we are taking the ice point like that? I'm going to take the steam point. So in ice point, I took T as 0 degrees Celsius. Similarly, you have to take T as 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, and I'm calling L as LS. L is what? General thermometric property, and LS is our thermometric property at steam point. How I took 0 and Li in ice point, like that I'm going to take 100 degrees Celsius and LS for steam point. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do, this general equation degrees Celsius and LS in equation number 1. How I substituted ice point? Same way you have to substitute the value of T as 100, L as LS. LS is what? Thermometric property at steam point. Li is thermometric property at ice point. Okay, just you substitute the value of T as 100 and L as LS in equation number 1. Okay. So what you'll get 100 equals to Al plus B. But we know that B equals to what? Minus Ali. Okay. So you have to So are you visible, guys? Screens. Are you visible? Are you? Am I audible?
So you're audible but screen not visible.
Not visible. Huh?
No, sir.
Okay, just a minute. Okay. Now you see visible.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
It's visible now.
Visible.
Yup, sir.
Visible to all of you. Is it
Yes,
visible?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall I continue? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now I got the value of A as 100 divided by LS minus LI and B as minus 100 into ALI divided by ALS minus LI. Now what I'm going to do next is I got two values A and B. Now I'm going to substitute these values in our general equation. What is the general equation? T equals to AL plus B. Okay, we got A as 100 divided by LS minus LI into L. Okay, this is our general equation is AL plus B. A is 100 divided by LS minus Li into L. Okay, one more is there L. And what about B? Minus 100 Li divided by LS minus Li. Okay, so how we are going to get these values? By knowing ice point and steam point. So before solving this problem, you have to remember the general equation. That is T equals to AL plus B. Suppose you are not writing this equation, so we will not proceed at all. That's why it's the basic step required to solve the problem. T equals to AL plus B. T is temperature, A is constant, L is thermometric property, and B is once again constant value. Okay. So next T equals to 100 divided by LS minus Li. Now you have to take the common term. Okay. So what are the common terms? Common terms is 100 is common. Okay, in both the here 100 is common, and here in the denominator LS minus Li is the common. You have to take 100 divided by LS minus Li common term. In the bracket, what will get? Here first term is L minus of Li. Okay, so we can write T degrees Celsius because I am going to express T in degrees Celsius. That's why you have to put T degrees Celsius equals to 100 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. So this is the expression for the temperature for Celsius scale. Okay, where you remember T is in degrees Celsius, L is thermometric property, Li is thermometric property at ice point, and Ls is thermometric property at steam point. Hope you understood how to solve the equation. Okay, similarly, now I am going to take for Fahrenheit scale. So how you have done the same thing you have to take for Fahrenheit scale also, but only difference is that in Celsius scale we took it as 0 degrees Celsius and ice point as 100 degrees Celsius. You remember in case of Fahrenheit scale, the ice point and steam points are assigned as 32 degree Fahrenheit and 212 degree Fahrenheit. Same procedure you have to follow. First, you have to write the equation T equals to AL plus B. Okay, and at ice point, instead of 0, you have to take 32 degree Fahrenheit. And once again, L equals to Li. Substitute the value of T as 32 and L as Li in the general equation. Okay, so now you have to take the value of T as 100 divided by LS minus Li into L. Okay, and at ice point, instead of 0, you have to take 32 degree Fahrenheit. And once again, L equals to Li. Substitute the value of T as 32 and L as Li in the general equation. what we'll get? 32 equals to ALI plus B. So you will get equation as 1. That's why I said you have to write first general equation and then assign the value. Ice point as 32 degree Fahrenheit and L as Li. So what will get? 32 equals to ALI plus B. Okay. And steam point is 212 degree Fahrenheit. In case of Fahrenheit scale, don't take 100, that is in Celsius scale. In Fahrenheit scale, steam point is 212 degree Fahrenheit, and you assign L as L, same way how you did in Celsius scale, same way you have to do it. Substitute the value of T as 212 degree Fahrenheit and A as it is, L as LS plus B as it is. You call it as equation number 2. Now, I want to get any one constant. Okay. Now I am going to solve equation number 1 and 2. Okay, first you write equation 2, 212 equals to ALS plus B and 32 equals to ALI plus B. You have to solve. Okay. You have to change the sign, minus, minus and minus. B will get cancelled. 212 minus 32 is 180 and ALS minus ALI. So you have to take A common in the bracket, LS minus Li and B will get cancelled. Okay. So this is the what equation we are getting after solving these two equations. 212 minus 32 is 180. ALS minus ALI, you can write A into LS minus Li. Anyhow, B term will be gets cancelled. So what will get? The constant A. What is constant A? A equals to 180 divided by LS minus Li. Okay. So 180 divided by LS minus Li. Okay, so the screen is little bit blur. Okay, and same thing, you have to substitute the value of A in equation. After substituting all this one, you are getting T degree Fahrenheit as 32 plus 180 into L minus Li divided by LS minus Li. How we are doing? Same way you have to do it. First you take 0, then 100 in a Celsius scale. In case of Fahrenheit scale, you have to take 32 and 212 degrees Celsius, and then you have to substitute the values. You will get the two constants A and B. Then you have to substitute back the constants A and B. And after solving, you are getting this equation as 32 plus 180 into L minus Li divided by LS minus Li. Okay. Now, how to establish? So this is the most important thing: relationship between Fahrenheit scale and Fahrenheit scale. So Fahrenheit scale, shall I explain once again, or you understood? Okay, how you did the Celsius scale, same way you have to do it. Okay. Shall I explain all the steps one by one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so A, we got it as 180 divided by LS minus Li. Now substitute the value of A in equation number 1. What is the equation number 1? This one. Okay. So we got the constant A as 180 divided by LS minus Li. Substitute the value of A as 180 divided by LS minus Li in equation number 1. So what will get? 32 equals to 180 divided by LS minus Li into Li plus B. So from this one you are getting B. What is B? B equals to 32. You have to shift this term towards the left hand side in order to get B. So B equals to what? 32 minus 180 Li divided by LS minus Li. Okay, so first we got constant A. Then you have to substitute in any one of the equation. You get the constant value B. Then after getting A and B, you have to substitute back in general equation. What is general equation? T equals to AL plus B. So what is A? 180 divided by LS minus Li, and B equals to what? 32 minus 180 Li divided by LS minus Li. Don't make confusion, very simple. L is thermometric property, Li is thermometric property at ice point, LS is thermometric property at a steam point. Okay, so next you have to substitute. After getting A and B, you have to substitute in general equation. A is what? 180 divided by LS minus Li, and you put L as it is. And what about B? 32 plus 32. You have to take plus 32 minus of 180 divided by LS minus Li. Okay, well, after writing A and B, you have to take the common term. Okay. 180 divided by LS minus LI, you have to take common term. In the bracket, what you'll get? L minus Li, and just you write this constant term as it is, plus 32. Okay. So T degree Fahrenheit, because T degree Fahrenheit equals to 32 plus 180 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. Okay, 32 in this equation, I am writing 32 constant first term, and then I am writing this term as a second term. There is no change in the equation. So T degree Fahrenheit is 32 plus 180 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. Hope you understood this equation, how to get the equation. So in Celsius scale, you have to take 0 and 100. And in case of Fahrenheit scale, you have to take 32 and 212 degree Fahrenheit. And you have to use general equation, T equals to L plus P. So this is the final equation we are getting. T equals to, but you have to mention the scale. That is most important. Celsius scale, degree Celsius. Fahrenheit means degree Fahrenheit. 32 plus 180 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. Okay, hope you understood how to get the Fahrenheit scale equation. Okay. Any doubts in this one? Fahrenheit scale? Any doubts? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay. So if you are having any doubts, please ask me so that I'll clarify. Okay, because you have to understand this concept properly. Okay, that's why I'm explaining again and again. You have to understand each and every step in the equation. Okay, so after getting these two equation, I'm going to get the relationship. Okay, so this what is the relationship between Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. Okay, I'll recall once again what equation you got in a Celsius scale is this one, 100 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. You see the final equation. Okay, in the slide, last equation. 100 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. First, you write whatever equation you got for Celsius scale. Okay. Next, from this equation, what I am going to do? This is the equation what we get. I am taking the 100 as the denominator of this equation. There is no change in equation. Whatever you are having the 100 in the RHS, just you take as the denominator of the LHS, no change in the equation, and you write this L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li as it is. You call it as equation number 1. Okay, first you write whatever equation you got in the Celsius scale, and you take whatever 100 is there in the equation, you take the denominator of LHS, and you write only this term in the RHS. Okay. Now what we got for Fahrenheit scale, final equation is 32 plus 180 into L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li. This is the Fahrenheit equation. Just you write whatever equation you got, you call it as equation number 2. Okay. Now we have to compare the equation number 1 and 2 because we are going to establish relationship between the Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. Okay, that's 32 plus 180. And what about L divided by this term is there? No, this is nothing but your T degrees Celsius divided by 100. Just you equate, because we are having this equation, and here we are having L minus Li 100. Nothing but your what? T degrees Celsius divided by 100. Just you replace this term with T degrees Celsius divided by 100. So 180 divided by 100 is nothing but what? 9 by 5. 18 divided by 10 is nothing but 9 by 5. So T degree Fahrenheit is 32 plus 9 by 5. It's nothing but T degrees Celsius. Okay, just you put LHS term in this one. So you get T T degree Fahrenheit equals to 32 plus 18 by 10 is nothing but 9 by 5 T degree Celsius. So this is, suppose you want to express degree Celsius in degree Fahrenheit is nothing but what? T degree Fahrenheit minus 32 into 5 by 9. So using the equations, we are going to establish relationship between that Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. So in order to establish the equation, first you have to write Celsius equation, you have to rewrite, and then you put the Fahrenheit scale as it is. Then instead of L minus Li divided by Ls minus Li, just you replace that term with the T degree Celsius divided by 100. Then 180 divided by 100 is nothing but what? 9 by 5. And T degree Celsius you put as it is. So this is how to express the one Celsius scale, Fahrenheit scale into Celsius scale, or from Celsius scale into your Fahrenheit scale. So this is the most important, because so every time in the exam they'll ask this to establish relationship between Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. Hope understood this derivation. Any doubts? Okay. Any doubt?
Sir, please send this derivation today only in the Google Classroom if
Okay.
possible.
Okay. I'll put it in the Google Classroom. Okay. So go through, and suppose you are having any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. Okay. And meantime, all of you have to enter your USN. Those who have not entered your USN, please enter your USN in the chat box for attendance. Okay, those who are not entered. So everyone enter your this one and then leave the meeting. Okay, all of you enter your USN and then leave the meeting. Okay, I'll stop the session now. Okay, thank you.